And apparently they could do very well. Because everybody loved what they saw. Heck, I enjoyed what I saw. I mean, Lucha Underground did things in Ultimate Lucha Part 2 that I didn't think was possible. I mean, you take a look at that hardcore match that Vampiro and Pentagon Jr. had. That Cerdro Madrio match, or whatever it was. I can't pronounce it. Basically the hardcore match. The Extreme Rules match. When I see them pulling out things like, not just thumbtacks, which we have seen before, but we had not seen in a long time in a wrestling promotion, except for maybe TNA. They'll pull them out every once in a while with Abyss and Bram. But when I see them pulling out the thumbtacks, when I see, the mats being pulled back to hurt to basically toss somebody, or body flip, or FU, or attitude adjustment, whatever you want to call it, somebody on there. When I see freaking light tubes, which were more preserved for BJW, Big Japan Wrestling, and CZW, that's saying something. That's saying something. And then of course you had the fire tape, the table on fire spot, but still, that's saying something. And for them to do that, and then, from a character standpoint, have someone like Vampiro, even after his arm gets broken, stand up and act like nothing's really affected him, and then reveal, hey, Pentagon Jr., that master that's always been telling you to hurt people and make sacrifices, you just faced him, you just beat him. And that was something, again, that's something that that we didn't see coming, because like I said, people that did the spoilers on the forums, they didn't say that happened. And when people look at have been following Lucha Underground for this past season, when they take a look at that, and even though it was a big twist, it was a big shock, and the reactions of the people in the crowd kind of proved that, or kind of showed that, when you have that overall, it kind of makes sense, because with Vampiro revealing that he is the master, basically this whole thing that he put Pentagon Jr. through, including the match against himself, was a test. Well, was not just proving grounds, but also was the match against himself was like the ultimate test to see if he was ready to take on that. Well, obviously take on the mantle that Vampiro wants to pass down to him. But the point is, overall, they did things with that match and throughout the show that kept people that got people talking, kept them compelled, kept them watching. It had me watching. Like I said, I haven't watched the main event yet, but it's got people, or even part 1 yet, but it's got people talking and craving for more. And that is why, when they did the 2-hour season finale, it makes you, it basically, again, makes you crave and want more, and more, and more. But the 2-hour season finale, to me, was a testing ground to see if maybe they could survive with a 2-hour broadcast instead of 1. Because if they could do 2 hours and succeed, that will show that perhaps they are exactly what fans want them to be. They are exactly what fans crave them to be, and that is the alternative. That is the alternative to what WWE is. They want them to be that alternative. They want them to be that alternative. And if they could do that with 2 hours, if this Ultima Lucha Part 2 was the finale, was a testing ground to see what they could do with 2 hours, then, more power to them. More power to them. Because to me, just from what I've seen so far, and I'm sure the Lex Man and anybody else might agree with this, they proved themselves. They passed the test that they could actually survive on 2 hours. Now the only question is going to be, will El Rey Network take him for another season? And I think they will. I think El Rey Network will pick him up for a second season. And you know what? I will not be surprised if they say the second season is going to be now a 2-hour broadcast. But then here's going to be the question. Will they keep him on Wednesday nights? Or will they move him? Will they move him to maybe Thursday nights to compete, Thursday or Tuesday nights to compete with SmackDown? Or even take the risk and try to compete with Raw on Monday nights? Because we all know that when a company like Lucha Underground proves to be the success that it's become and does things that, let's say, WWE doesn't do, we've seen in the past that when a company does things that WWE doesn't do, it makes WWE or any other promotion it goes up against pick up their A game, because that is the competition WWE sorely needs, or whatever promotion they go up against would sorely need. Because think about it, you could have Monday Night Lucha, Monday Night Lucha Underground, or Monday Lucha Underground, whatever you want to call it, and even for 2 hours, Raw could be 3 hours. For 2 hours, you could basically blow them away. And you know what would be the best slot for it? It would be between that 9 o'clock. Well, not actually 9. It would be where you have it now, that prime time, 8 o'clock time slot. And then put the replay immediately after. Do a replay for people that didn't catch the first airing. Let's say somebody has to work and they don't get home until about 9:30, and they don't get home till around 9:30. Put the replay on there, starting immediately within the last hour of, let's say, Raw, and people are going to eat that up. People are going to eat that up. They're gonna want it. They're going to want to see more, and that's going to make something like WWE wake up and realize, hey, yeah, we're a very corporate organization and all that, but guess what? This Lucha Underground is kicking our ass. Because let's face facts. Lucha Underground will do that. They will do that, and that's going to make WWE pick up their A game. Now, is that going to hurt Lucha Underground if that was to happen? No, because if they're smart enough, the people behind Lucha Underground will move it maybe back to Wednesday nights, so it's not in direct competition. But it will have a lingering effect. You'll have a lingering effect on WWE and the product in general, because then they'll realize, you know what, we have this promotion that's out there, we can't ignore it anymore, let's pick up our A game, let's do what we should have done in the first place. And in a sense, it'll work. It would actually work. In a sense, it would actually work. And I think everybody watching this knows that. I think everybody watching this knows that for a fact, that it would actually work. You know, and I'm not just sitting here saying this because I want it to happen. I'm just saying this as a possibility. Because like I said, I look at Ultimate Lucha, Part 2 that is, and I see basically a testing ground for Lucha Underground to expand to 2 hours. Whether they stay on Wednesday nights, whether they move to Thursdays, whether they move to Tuesdays, or whether they go in direct competition with Raw. This was a testing ground, this 2-hour finale, to see how they could do with a 2-hour broadcast. And to me, they knocked it out of the park. And it's not just according to me, it's according to people like the Lex Man, people that have reviewed it and said you gotta watch this, it's a must-see. For any wrestling fan, to me, they knocked it out of the park. And again, to me, they laid the foundation of how you need to do a wrestling presentation. Like I said earlier, the way they go back and forth with the in-ring wrestling to the backstage storytelling, it's like going from, you know, WWE Ring of Honor wrestling to the Sopranos, or WWE to the Sopranos, or whatever. You get your wrestling and you get your Sopranos show almost immediately, and you don't get like 5-10 minute segments and all that backstage or even in the ring. You get short little 2-3 minute segments, and that's it. That's all you get. And the way they also did vignettes to present who was going to come in, or to showcase who they were pushing and all that, was done terrifically too. In a sense, it made it believable. So to me, Lucha Underground will set the foundation for what wrestling promotions today and in the future need to do to, present their product in a way people are going to enjoy. I'm checking my cat there. She's trying to get at something. But anyway, it showcased that, and I think people watching this know that. It showcased and laid the foundation for how wrestling promotions, like I said, today and in the future, need to start broadcasting and presenting their program. Because if they do it in a sense that Lucha Underground has done, then people are going to pay attention to the wrestling industry more so and take it more seriously than they've ever have. Because it's going to be exactly what they're looking for. It's going to be a blending of the athleticism that you see in the ring, the competition you see in the ring, as well as be a blend of what you see on networks like CBS and NBC and ABC and Fox, and their crime drama, soprano-like dramas and stuff like that. It's going to be that combination that they're looking for that they enjoy in today's media. And this is something that, again, like I said, is basically what the wrestling industry and Lucha Underground has set that foundation sorely needs. So, my thoughts on the first season of Lucha Underground with its Ultima Lucha finale, I'll say this. They basically did what they needed to do. They laid the foundation for how a wrestling show program needs to be presented. They, to me, laid the foundation of how you should truly do backstage segments, kind of make it a blending of two different environments, two different shows. And you know what? I hope that wrestling promotions like WWE, Ring of Honor, GFW, whenever it finally gets a television deal, and heck, if TNA's still around, even them, I hope it shows them that you could do a wrestling show, but you could do it in a sense that's going to please everybody, from the most enthusiast wrestling fan to the most enthusiast fan of, let's say, the crime dramas, soprano-like dramas and stuff like that. It's going to satisfy them. And Lucha Underground, to me, set the foundation of how it should be done. Now, do I think there's going to be a season 2? Of course there is. Do I think it's going to be in El Rey Network? Right now, it's probably a strong possibility it will be. And if not, I think I do agree with the Lex Man. Hashtag Netflix needs Lucha. Yeah. So, to me, I definitely see another season coming, and I'm not going to be surprised whether it's El Rey, Netflix, or whoever. Mostly El Rey, there's no doubt about it, because it was a hit show for them. That we get 2 hours, a 2-hour broadcast from now on in the next season. I wouldn't be surprised. I won't be surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if they try to directly compete against WWE in a way that, like I mentioned earlier, makes WWE do what they did back during the Monday Night Wars, and that's up their A game. I won't be surprised. So, that's just my thoughts. Sorry this video was in multiple parts, being so long that it was, but I just had to get a lot off my chest. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you agree with anything I've said in these videos? And I'll talk to y'all later. But to me, Lucha Underground, in its first season, set the foundation of how a wrestling program, presentation of a wrestling show and program needs to be.